Je suppose que le corps n'est autre chose qu'une statue ou machine de terre, que Dieu forme tout exprès pour la rendre la plus semblable à nous qu'il est possible, en sorte que non seulement il lui donne au dehors la couleur et la figure de tous nos membres, mais aussi qu'il met au dedans toutes les pièces qui sont requises pour faire qu'elle marche, qu'elle mange, qu'elle respire, et enfin qu'elle imite toutes celles de nos fonctions qui peuvent être imaginées procéder de la matière et ne dépendre que de la disposition des organes.
Dans le traité de l'homme, René Descartes, philosophe, mais aussi physiologiste et physicien, considère corps et âme dans leur autonomie réciproque. Son message est visionnaire. Le corps de l'homme, comme celui des animaux, n'est qu'une mécanique, certes admirable dans la complexité de ses rouages, mais aussi automatique et réglée qu'une horloge. Ce mécanisme s'applique à tous les aspects de la physiologie, pas seulement au mouvement du corps et des organes,
mais aussi à la réception des lumières, des sons, des odeurs, des goûts, de la chaleur, l'impression de leurs idées dans l'organe du sens commun et de l'imagination, la rétention ou l'empreinte de ces idées dans la mémoire, les mouvements intérieurs des appétits et des passions.
Les passions, ce sont nos émotions. Chacune s'explique par quelque déséquilibre de la mécanique, quelque tension de ses câbles ou quelque concentration de ses humeurs que l'âme perçoit comme la volonté du corps. Mais quel est leur rôle? Dans son traité des passions, Descartes entrevoit déjà la grande idée de Darwin.
L'usage de toutes les passions consiste en cela seul, qu'elles disposent l'âme à vouloir les choses que la nature dicte de nous être utiles.
Toutes nos émotions ont ainsi été façonnées par ce grand stratège qu'est l'évolution. Dans un monde de risques et de coups du sort, chaque corps vivant est un arsenal d'armures et de ripostes qui ont fait leurs preuves.
13 years after Darwin published the book for which he's most known, On the Origin of Species, he published The Expression of Emotion in Man and Animals, 1872. It really is where the psychology of emotion began. And now a lot of attention is paid to it. But it was a book that in most of the last century was ignored, despite this wonderful title, despite being written by the most famous scientist not only of his time, but of all time. It was a book that was a bestseller in its own time, but its basic message was unpopular in most of the 20th century, which was that there really is a biological basis to much, not all, but much of human behavior. Of course, if you take a creationist position, which was the dominant view not just of laymen, but of the scientists of his time, who all believed in the biblical explanation of the origin of humans, then you would really expect that humans would really have been created in a very different way by divine power. And you wouldn't expect to see such similarity between humans and other animals and their expressions and emotions. Darwin used in his book some of the photographs and some of the ideas of Duchenne de Boulogne, a French neurologist, very famous for his work in neurological diseases. What Duchenne did was he was the first scientist we know of to use photography. In the 1850s he did this work, and beautiful photographs. They're just spectacularly interesting as photographs themselves. He had a patient who had no pain sensation in his face, and so he put electrodes in different areas, stimulating the muscles and photographing the expression. And it's how he discovered which muscles produce each expression. Before that, we didn't know. And he didn't complete the job, but he did at least 50% of it. I finished the job. One of my major efforts was to map the entire range of human expression in muscular terms. Duchenne worked with combinations of up to 3 muscles. I went to 7 and 8 muscles. Darwin was particularly interested in an idea that Duchenne had, that you could tell the difference between a genuine smile of enjoyment and the kind of social, polite smiles that we show all the time. And he discovered this in a really brilliant way. Through serendipity, he put the electrodes here, and the lip corners went up, and he looked at the photograph and he said, he doesn't look like he's happy. So he told him a joke and photographed him, and then he looked at what's the real difference. Well, in the joke with the spontaneous smile, the muscle that orbits the eye was active. Duchenne said in English translation, the absence of this muscle unmasks the false friend. And it is the key. Now, that was totally ignored until in 1982, I published an article reporting the first evidence supporting Duchenne. And now there are dozens of studies. Just to give you an example, if you look at married couples when they first meet each other at the end of the day, if they're happily married, they show the smile with his eye muscle, which I've called Duchenne's smile in his honor. If they're unhappily married, they showed just the lip corners, no eye muscle. And it actually is more important than just the smile. What it tells us, if we want to know the difference between true emotional expressions and ones that are feigned, and this has been very important in my own work on deception, look for the absence or presence of muscles that you can't control voluntarily. Because one of the things about the eye muscle is that nobody can contract it voluntarily simultaneously on both sides in synchrony with the smile. We can do this, we can raise our upper eyelids, we can do all kinds of things, but not that particular muscle. And there are others that are very difficult to move voluntarily that unmask false friends.
Car la seule cause de tous les mouvements des membres est que quelques muscles s'accourcissent et que leurs opposés s'allongent, ainsi qu'il a déjà été dit. Et la seule cause qui fait qu'un muscle s'accourcit plutôt que son opposé est qu'il vient tant soit peu plus d'esprit du cerveau vers lui que vers l'autre.